and welcome to tonight's coverage of race number 6 here for the inaugural season of the Champions Motorsports Truck Series. Tonight, we are at the virtual HOMESTEAD-MIAMI Speedway for 100 laps under the lights. My name is Alec Martinez, and joining me tonight in the booth, as well as my partner, as always, Eddie Smith. Eddie, man, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Homestead, one of the best tracks we come to on the NASCAR schedule. These trucks, it's going to be slick out there. Every lane's going to be usable, especially after the absolute amazing finish, the banger finish that we had at Pocono. What are you expecting here for tonight?
I'm expecting the same thing we've had all season long, which is just incredible racing with some really fast drivers and just a lot of fun. And so we've seen some really awesome things out of these drivers, and I think when you give them 3 lanes to work with, like we have tonight at Homestead, I think we're going to see maybe some fireworks. You just never know. Only 2 races left in the season. There's just a lot on the line, so I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Yes, it is going to be fun. As qualifying taking place currently right now, as the sun was shining at the time of this shot, but now currently we'll have to cut it to what is full under the lights here. It'll be interesting to see how this track has changed. Is currently on top of the board, Brett Stevens in the 86 truck, a 33.049 at the top. But right now, our track facts for tonight's race here at HOMESTEAD-MIAMI Speedway opened up 1995, originally a flat surface track with really barely any banking. I think it got a reconfiguration in about 2003. Then we got this progressive banking all the way from the bottom to the top. And to make it even better, it hasn't been repaved since, so it's still the same track surface, and this track 1.5 miles long. And as well, in the grandstands, 46,000 spectators able to sit in the seats here. And man, Florida, South Florida, always a great race. Championship for the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Craftsman Truck Series to always be here. Unfortunately, that changed a little bit still in October, but man, this venue, one of the best on the schedule usually.
Yeah, I mean, just the sight of so many good races. It used to be the ending race of the NASCAR Cup Series, and while that's changed, it's still, I think every time we go there, it's just an incredible race, and it's just a fun track. It's just a cool track. It's with that high line to be able to run right up against the fence. It just makes all the difference in the world about the racing. Be able to get runs off the top side, and I think the truck really plays into that. Yeah, looking forward to seeing how these guys deal with it, and definitely the open setup part. That's going to be the most interesting. But what I want to do is I want to talk to the boss man himself, David Anderson. So I'm going to bring him up in the chat. And David, this is Eddie and Alec in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, guys. How you doing?
Well, man, we're doing great. And thank you so much for taking time to talk to us a little bit before the race. I know you got a lot going on, and we definitely appreciate it. But talk a little bit about this season. Just about 3 races left, and tonight, though, at Homestead, how you feeling? How's that truck feeling? And could we see David Anderson in victory lane tonight?
Well, I sure hope so, guys. I definitely need to have something go my way. I've had a little bit of bad luck and a couple of self-induced errors the last couple of weeks where that took probably top 5 finishes away. But I think I'm focused on that tonight. So yeah, you could see us have a much better race, maybe even a win, hopefully.
Well, I mean, it's been an incredible season. I mean, talk a little bit about what you think. I'm not going to ask you, to give any negatives, but what do you think has been the most success in this series this season? That first time doing a truck oval like series, and tell me what you think was a success this season so far. It's not over, but we're getting down to crunch time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I take away is that I think that it is going to be the participation is going to continue to grow. And I was a little bit concerned with the Friday night time slot, and your mileage varies with that because you have guys like this weekend, for example, we're going to have a little smaller field because I know of at least 4 or 5 guys that had Labor Day plans, for the weekend. But I think the participation and the fact that I think it will only grow is what I'm most excited about. And that, I've already made the commitment to the guys that we plan to bring it back for season 2. And I think that's kind of what I was hoping for.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for the time. Good luck out there. You're starting at night tonight. Good luck as you make your way through the field.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to watching the broadcast.
Well, there you have it. David Anderson.
David Anderson.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the grid. What do you say, Alec?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like you said, David Anderson starting up in ninth here, but tonight on the pole, Brett Stevens, the 86 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro with a 33.050, almost a 33 flat, beating Kyle Smith by about a tenth in the 55. Kyle Smith, really good qualifying pace. He'll be rolling off second. Brian Shabelski, the guy who almost stole the wins last week from Miguel Colon and Davis Braun, he'll be rolling off third, and to his outside will be Dennis Crosby. Up in fifth, last week's winner, Davis Braun, will be rolling off here in the inside the top 5 in row number 3. And to his outside will be a new driver that we haven't seen. Drew Lidke will be rolling off in the number 21 truck, or excuse me, the 21 truck. Then in row number 4, you got Alex Maynard and Miguel Colon, the championship points leader, looking to extend his points lead even more tonight, rolling off 8th, like we said before. David Anderson rolling off 9th, and Jay Darger rolling off inside the top 10.
Yeah, the last 2 rows, Anthony James going to start in 11th. Mike Tyler going to start in 12th. 13th is Pierre Robitaille, and Jacques Richard going to round out the field in that 90 Chevrolet Silverado.
14 trucks here tonight. As before we take the green flag, we'll get 2 things. Number 1, our point standings from this season so far. Miguel Colon, a commanding point series lead, 2 wins on the season, and a 42 points gap, 42 point lead over Brett Stevens, Kyle Smith, and then 45 points over David Anderson, who is leading the over 50 standings. But Miguel Colon, a commanding lead here. And before we go green, who's your pick there, Eddie?
Miguel Colon, no doubt.
Miguel
I
Colon,
mean, he drove all the way from the back. Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to take the bait.
100%.
Brett Stevens, he's been the only one that's been able to run up with Miguel Colon, but into the Geico restart zone for the first time tonight. Green flag is out, and we're underway under the lights in Homestead. Final turn of Davis Braun, a little loose underneath the 22 of Dennis Crosby. Kyle Smith will come across the line to lead the first lap of the night. All these drivers already getting up on that outside lane. We got Colon already at 2 spots. Brett Stevens extremely loose off of turn 4 as well. Won't lose. Colon, big time run already off of turn 2. Looks inside of the 86 and maybe even the 85. You got the 85, 86, and 87 all together, while the 55 of Kyle Smith pulling away.
Yeah, we saw a lot of trucks there on that first lap that got loose. I mean, even our leader, Kyle Smith, was extremely loose off the corner, and that's pretty normal here as we look at the weather. I mean, the track temp's only 81 degrees, so it's very, very cold out there. I mean, 81 degrees is I'm sweating in real life, but here, these tracks and the way that the tires warm up, that's very cold. So early on in this race, early on new tires, you're going to see guys get loose, and we've seen quite a few so far getting pretty loose. So that's to be expected. But as the tires start to warm up here after we're finishing up lap 3, going into lap 4, we're going to start to see these guys get a little bit more racy, have a little bit more grip to work with. Miguel Colon has already driven up to 2nd place.
Yeah, it's looking like one of those races where Miguel just finds a way to pair for the field, and right now it's get on board with him as well. This is the guy who's driving the camera up to see the focus of Miguel. How consistent he's been on here, and look how close up to that inside wall. This is the track, like I said, so many flags on the bottom, but he's the top, the most dominant, and the guy who's the most dominant in real life is Kyle Larson. Pull up the Larson line, he's running that right up against the wall. Start using the air for your advantage. He's carrying it off and down the field, especially in trucks. So big, carrying over.
Yeah, I raced up until about a year ago. Didn't really model that Larson line, but as he gets real close to it there, he's getting close to the back bumper of Kyle Smith. But the Larson line really just didn't even work for the longest time, but they finally modeled it. And the way that it works for those who are the uninitiated is as you get closer and closer to the wall, you build up a pressure, and that air basically keeps you off the wall. So if you move as close to you possibly can, it's called a cushion for a reason. It allows you to get up right next without hitting the wall, but it'll make the car turn, or the truck in this case, turn a lot better. But here goes Miguel Colon down to the inside for the lead here early on lap. Oh, you see him working that wheel.
He's going to get loose. He's going to clear back behind Kyle Smith. Smith holds on to the lead. These top two starting to pull away. And I've noticed it seems to be a trend this year. Kyle Smith really good on the short run. And then as this run continues to go on, the 87 truck tends to be the best. But I'm starting to notice some Brett Stevens, Davis Braun, last week's winner at Pocono. He was even saying in his interview, very confident going into tonight. He said Homestead and Pocono were two of his best tracks. And here we are tonight at Homestead, last week at Pocono where he won, and tonight here at Homestead where he's currently making his way up to the field as slowly but surely behind Brett Stevens. They've kind of fallen away about a second back from Miguel Colon and Kyle Smith, but look at these guys using three different lines. You got Stevens on the outside, Dennis Crosby all the way on the white line, and then Davis right up in the middle. Man, this track's so wide, these guys are able to use all the lanes.
Yeah, you can see all three of them using something different. It's such a unique part of this track, and because you can see the grip there right in the middle. That bottom line really doesn't show grip. I mean, the way that the track looks, how dark it is, but that bottom will get it done. And it's interesting because it's one of the few tracks that all three lines maintain their speed all the way through. It just becomes so much harder.
He got Colon to the wall. One of those effects in front of that wall. It's hard to catch you up there, but I noticed he got right into the wake of the 55, and then he got up and he tapped the wall, and kind of reminiscent of last week what happened at Pocono, where he got the wall in turn 3 and cost him a win, but this time gets up on the wall. Curious to see how that body is able to take it. We know that this damage mod a lot better when it comes to hitting the wall, but still nonetheless, this truck can get damage, and if you get your damage on a mile and a half, even such as Homestead, can really affect your truck for the late runs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the risk of this version of the Lord to run it up there. As we take a look at the picture and look at exactly what happened. He just goes into the corner and just slides right up. As that right front starts to tear up, and you see that the wall just reached up to the caption. It's hard to get off. So.
Kyle Smith loving that. It's over him up to about a second lead. The 55 truck starting second. He's led every lap since lap 10 clicks off the board, now up onto lap 11. But man, Kyle Smith, a good pace. So I'm curious to see how the long run pace is going to be in this truck. This track notorious for absolutely chewing up the Goodyear leaders on the racetracks and race cars. The Homestead is such an old service, hasn't been repaved since I believe 2003. And if we went off a current day, I mean, it's 20 years old now. I think Auto Club Speedway had the oldest, now HOMESTEAD-MIAMI, I believe, has the record, has the current record of the oldest track surface in NASCAR competitions. So this track will eat up these tires, and that's another thing. How are you going to preserve your tires throughout this race? Probably only going to make one stop, depending on how bad fall off is right now. So far, about 7/10 of a second. Oh, really loose, and that's going to spin it. Look at this, Davis Braun, Miguel Colon splitting him, and Colon gets the lead down the backstretch. Braun up to second. Curious to see what happened to the 55, but a massive mistake costs him 2 spots.
Yeah, I mean, already leaders having issues and causing them to have. I mean, Kyle did the exact same thing that Miguel Colon did.
Get the wall, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go on board with him and check it out here on the picture-in-picture. He goes down to the corner, same thing. Just gets into the wall, flirts a little bit too much with it, and she grabbed him. So, got to be careful with that. Already seeing some guys do it. I mean, it's going to be a fun race, but it's frustrating. I imagine for Kyle Smith. When you see Miguel Colon make that mistake, right? Davis Braun was able to take advantage of it last week, but Kyle Smith driving off into the distance, and after Miguel makes a mistake, and then he makes the same mistake. So I think we've already seen that guys have set up their trucks, and it's something that I want to highlight here on the race analysis. VSRN race analysis. But open setup, $100, 3 cents tires, 1 fast repair. That open setup is what I'm interested in. We've got a battle for the lead here. But I just wonder how these guys set these cars up. What time of day? Did they did they do it in the daytime? Did they set it up at night? How did they set their truck up? Did they set it up for hot temperatures? Did they spend enough time on long runs? Because like you said, this track will chew your tires up. So we're already seeing Kyle Smith with, like you said, early on was really fast, but now starting to fade as he can barely hang on to that thing.
Yeah, he is holding on, wheeling and dealing as we see his name is Braun. Last we're looking for 2 in a row, got the lead, but getting loose up there. Now using the momentum off the top, lost over into turn 3, maybe a slide job, if you so will. Yes, sir, slide job into the corner. Braun backs out of it, gives the lead back up. Cologne back into the lead, but these guys are sliding the tires, and I'm noticing every line starting to work. Brett Stevens still not having the pace, started on the pole, just hasn't had the pace. Makes you wonder if he's saving those tires. I'll tell you, how about Dennis Crosby? He's been on that bottom lane, same with Davis Braun. These guys have been really utilizing that bottom. It seems to be working as here comes Braun now back down to the inside. He'll side track the 87 here down the backstretch. Now into turn number 3, the 24 truck dives it back low. Will try to hit that white line, try to get that run off, and it looks like Cologne just gets a little bit tight. The corner should allow the 24 to clear, but now look at the momentum that the 87 carries down the front stretch.
Yeah, and I think Davis Braun there, if it would have been 10 laps ago, he would not have been so nice. He definitely had to clear up to go ahead and complete that slide job, but elected to give Miguel Cologne a lot of room. He definitely has got a lot of confidence in that Toyota because he is being really, really nice right now and making that bottom work really well. You know, I think that top would start to take over after the tires get worn about 15 laps or so. But that has not been the case with Davis Braun. He is making that bottom work really well. So finally completes that pass.
Clears for the lead there down the front stretch. Davis Braun looking to go 2 in a row, 17 laps up on the board so far. Braun looking strong early on. Miguel Cologne is not going to let him go easily as Cologne way up the racetrack. Almost taps the right recorder panel against the wall. Behind them, the battle for third between 3 trucks under a blanket here. Miguel Cologne, Davis Braun pulling away from Kyle Smith, who was in the lead, led the first 10 laps of this race. Got him to the outside wall. This has allowed Dennis Crosby to Brett Stevens to close up. Crosby seems to have the most pace out of any of these trucks that are at the front. This seems to be a little bit stuck behind the 55 right now.
He's done a good job of maintaining. Just trying to maintain the spots with Miguel Cologne, Davis Braun. Moved up a ton of spots. Right now, he's all the back on for Kyle. We've seen Kyle already be struggling. And when you're struggling on lap 5 or 6 with the Viper stepping out, and Homestead, it never really fixes itself. Like, you really can't. He's trying to run the bottom, but running the bottom with a loose truck like this, you see it gets real loose there, and that's going to open the door for Dennis Crosby. But when you get loose here and you try to run the bottom or the mid especially off of turn 4, it is extremely loose. So the way that Kyle Smith's got his truck set up, he has got to work that. He's going to get in the wall again.
Kyle Smith up into the outside wall once again. He'll be able to gather it back up, but he has fallen and has dropped another 2 spots. Now back down to 5th. Who will look like could have been the fastest truck all night is unfortunately gonna fall back down to 5th.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he had his truck set up for the long run and starting to fade. But I think with your truck being that loose, you really got to commit to the top line, and I just don't think he is able to commit to it without hitting the wall. I think if he, hadn't hit the wall a couple times, he'd still be up front in the lead. But he's just struggling with the ill handling truck, and fortunately for him, he will get at least one pit stop and be able to come down and try to tighten that thing up a little bit. But I think it's just a little bit too loose right now.
Yeah, just a little bit for just the handling going away from the 55 truck there from Kyle Smith. The leader, Davis Braun, has pulled to an 8/10 of a second lead. Running that bottom seems to be working there for the 24 truck. The 87 still using that outside wall. But man, how about Davis Braun? The great race, great truck under him right now. And Dennis Crosby up into 22, up into 3rd.
Yeah, slowly making his way. I mean, Davis Braun right now is just a blistering pace at 34.5. Yep. Nobody's really able to match that, not even Miguel Cologne. So, I think it's going to be tough to see. I think these guys got to go a long way. We're only about halfway into this run, so we're going to have to see how this all plays out. And we got to do this all over again. And we have, cautions could obviously make a play here and change everything up as we watch David Anderson go into the 9th position past Jay Dargett.
Yeah, and battling all over this track, even with 14 trucks. A lot of battling. How about Brian Shabelski up in 6th, running that inside lane? He's got about a 4 or 5 car like gap over Drew Lidkia in the 21 truck, and then Alex Maynard. How about the 243 truck? Maynard hasn't had the greatest of seasons, unfortunately, but tonight, solid run up in 8th. Seems to be faster than the trucks ahead of him. That 243 truck not having too bad of a night. David Anderson up in the 9th here. Jay Darger, Pierre Robitaille, and Anthony James are battling right now. Jacques Richard and Mike Tyler were going at it. Tyler has unfortunately lost a little bit of this battle here, but Robitaille able to get by for 11th on James. James falls back to the 12th position, and then Richard staying pretty confidently in 13th, with Tyler up in 14th. And as these tires, I believe, start to fall off, I think this field might get a little more spread out. But I wonder, Miguel Colon, he's going to make that truck better. It's going to get better throughout this race. I'm just curious to see his lap times. Not what I was expecting to see. He is really, really falling off.
Yeah, it's obviously some setup issue. Davis Braun come ready to go. I mean, he was kind of hanging out, but still passing trucks, just not as fast as Miguel Colon was. But whenever the opportunity presented itself, I mean, you could definitely see he was so much faster. So Davis hit on the setup, seems to be running really good. On board though with Mike Tyler, checking out his setup. We had the face cam the other day, last week, and now we've got the perspective cam, and he's got a nice little setup. Got a little button box there, triple screens. Man, looking really good. Even got the what I could tell, Lotus 49 up there.
Yeah, Lotus 49, I
awesome.
believe. Yeah, I like that.
Really, really
I was
cool.
just thinking about that.
I don't know if you've ever watched those cars and the guys that race there.
Absolutely insane.
It's incredible. People talk about the NASCAR and how well the stock cars race on tracks like road courses. I'm telling you, man, I've got to say the Lotus 49 series, if you like to slide around and just be completely out of control and just have to wheel that thing, go run one of those Lotus 49, particularly the race on Saturday morning. That's the strength of field race, and I'm telling you what a blast to watch that group of drivers. So,
yeah, those guys absolutely just wheel those cars to the absolute limit. Heck, and it makes you always wonder those kinds of cars, the Lotuses, old Formula One style cars, even the Indy car style cars, it makes you wonder, these guys racing in the 40s, the 50s with those cars. You think of Fangio in F1, you think of the Andretti's early beginning there in IndyCar and in Indianapolis. It's absolutely crazy that drivers used to get into those cars, strap the belts on, go 160 miles an hour with absolutely no protection. And sometimes not even belts. They don't even strap in with belts. They just strap into the car. And to me, it's always crazy. And it just shows how far racing has come in any racing series, whether it's Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, any stock car racing or open wheel racing event, how far safety's come. And I think obviously safety's been tested year in, year out. And I think last week was a big test for NASCAR with Ryan Preece's wreck at Daytona. Glad to see that Ryan Preece will be racing this weekend in Darlington in the World Cup Series as well. But man, every year, man, it's crazy when we see things like that. Seeing those old cars, seeing footage of it, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, there were a lot of deaths back in the day. That's one thing that when we look back on it, there were a lot of race car drivers who died. We didn't know too much about them because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have a widespread of information, wide flowing. But I mean, there were a lot of fatalities, and it was just one of those things. Ryan Preece said in the tweet, said, "Got to be tough if you're going to race cars." And so, I think that's exactly what you got to be. But back to this race, and I'm telling you, Dennis Crosby, you called it. He is fast, man. He is right to the back bumper of Miguel Colon. We wondered how much that damage might affect him. I just don't think that damage has affected him that much. I think Kyle and Miguel just either burned him up or just set up for qualifying, and it is just biting them. They're just so loose. Let's actually go on board. Well, we'll watch this battle play out, but I do want to go on board with Miguel Colon at some point and see what his wheel inputs are like, because he's got to stay up at the top side. He's a lot like Kyle Smith at the moment.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, how much laps can these guys go on their tires? Can they split this race in half, go 50 and 50, right?
Yeah.
And if you can, I mean, you're going to have to hold on for another 18, 19 laps to
And
get there, how much time are you going to lose? And right now, Davis Braun is setting sail. I mean, he is 4 seconds ahead of these guys. Is Darius Crosby looking to get second so far? I think you got to put this is Crosby's best race of the season so far, side by side with the championship leader Miguel Colon. Stevens just a couple seconds back, but Crosby just gets to the apron there. Should allow Cologne to at least get clear, but right now Cologne's struggling with rear handling, rear grip in that truck. It doesn't seem like he can get back onto the gas here, and it looks like Crosby, even though he's on the bottom, he get up into the gas sooner, and it's able to even pull him even closer next to him, make sure whatever he's got to get up, maybe side draft him down the straightaway. But man, 1 and 2, it seems like Cologne goes, and in 3 and 4, it seems like Crosby kind of reels him back in. But as these guys are battling, they're just allowing Davis Braun to continue to pull away. 4 seconds, as unfortunately Mike Tyler has just won a lap down, but Davis Braun way out ahead of these guys.
Yeah, I don't think whether or not they battle or not, it's going to make a difference on whether Davis Braun continues to pull away. I mean, that's the first time Miguel Colon has even gotten close, and I think it's because he was lapping Mike Tyler. Davis Braun is just gone. So I think these guys should be ready to get down on pit road, maybe try to make some adjustments. They can do wedge, they can do track bar, they can do tire pressure. So I'd be interested to see if they make some changes. Try to throw some stuff at it. I mean, Miguel Colon has got the championship. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's pretty much got it wrapped up. It's going to be very, very difficult for somebody to make up that much, that many points. So he could probably gamble, try something, try a 2-stop strategy. If these guys can make it to 50, I think that's what Davis Braun will do, just because it makes the most sense. But the tire fall off is pretty substantial. We're now at 2 seconds after only 35 laps. So I'd be interested to see if anybody would jump down pit road and try a 2-stop strategy that's in the top 5 and see how that works. I mean, you can make up a lot of time. Just have the danger of a caution comes out, it could be stuck behind the 8 ball.
And how about this? Brian Schabelsky pitting, and it does confirm what we were thinking about earlier in this race. Look at that, having to use the access road here to get on the pit road. Don't want to have any extra incidents. That's going to be something to see if you're going to have to push the issue on the access road. Can gain a ton of time as Schabelsky pits 35 laps in, not even halfway. So it might make you think maybe this is a 2-stopper. Maybe this is a race you're going to have to pit twice. And because of the tire fall off, right now these guys are running about 2 seconds slower a lap than their best laps. So I mean, you look at Miguel Colon, his best lap of 33.1, and now a 35.18. And now as I say that, Colon going to bring it into pit road. Doesn't want to speed. Carries a little bit of speed in there, but he seems like he's going to get through just fine. Schabelsky getting his stop going. Kyle Smith also bringing it down pit road. And Davis Braun, honestly, he could probably stay out another 4 or 5 laps and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got all the track position that he needs to kind of dictate what he wants to do to watch Miguel Colon and Kyle Smith come down pit road. They're just anxious to get down on pit road. These 2 drivers are for sure.
Struggling handling.
Yeah, they just could not wait. They saw the first couple drivers that we're coming to. So I think that's a good strategy. I don't know the fuel load, so I don't know exactly what they can do as far as making it to 50. If you could 1-stop it, if you're Davis Braun, that's what you want to do. But obviously you can't because these guys are coming down pit road. I mean, Davis Braun is still out there. How long will he stay? Because it's only going to take a couple laps for Miguel Colon and Kyle Smith to make up that difference. So right now he's continuing to stay out there. I thought maybe he would come in, but he is electing to stay out.
I think of all the tracks that you don't want to short pit, I think Homestead's on that list. Homestead, Richmond, these tracks, Darlington, tracks that wear out tires no matter what vehicle you're in. Yeah, short pitting works out, but I feel like even doing that, Homestead, these tracks, they wear out the tires so much, the tire fall off is so massive that I think you can get away with 5, 6 laps after everybody pits because the tire advantage is so big.
Yeah, and you can run a lot of different lanes.
Yeah.
At a 1-lane track, I could see it being a tough call. Sometimes it's just so hard to pass. But yeah, you're right.
I will say,
a 3-lane track like this, it can be pretty easy to make up the difference.
I will say though, Colon, he's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of speed. He's going to get the lead. It's just going to depend on, how many laps is he going to turn. The second lap on the board, that last lap of 33.65, which is about a second and a half faster. He was about 5 seconds behind Davis Braun. So in about 3 laps, he will have probably retaken the lead. But Braun will have 3 laps fresh of tires right now. So we'll we'll see. Dennis Crosby, I'm interested to see. He hasn't pitted yet. As Cologne, look at this. Look at the speed. He just blows by the 22. He'll get by the 24 within probably the next lap. And I'm just going to be interested to see. Oh, Jake Darker, that Willis has an issue. Oh, he's in the middle of the racetrack. Stevens has to avoid a caution coming out. Would be the worst thing for the 87 there. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
I think he spun on the entry of pit road, I believe. Oh, no, he went to miss. There was another truck around. It was Anthony. Oh, no, it was Drew Litkia was around. And he had to go and miss. And unfortunately, he missed pit road and spun.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, that wasn't a caution.
Yeah.
It was Alex Maynard going to the outside, going around him. But let's see. He got Jay Darger here. Spins around.
Oh.
Yeah, the 21 truck was
Drew
down
Litkia,
there.
yeah.
Litkia was around, and I think he went to miss him. He was going to absolutely kill him down the front stretch there, and he had to miss him. Now, Litkia's coming back down the pit lane. No, we're not lying. Yeah, he got loose. Yeah, no, he got loose there. I think he clipped the grass, and then back down. I can see why.
Yeah.
I think Darger thought he was going to back up into him and cause him an incident there, but unfortunately, that's going to cost both of them multiple seconds on the racetrack, and it's going to really hurt them for the rest of this race. But Dennis Crosby, good speed though.
Yeah, he's staying out.
In second. I just got to wonder. I think they're going to try to split this race into in half if they can. If they can go 50 laps, I just don't know if you're going to be able to do that. As you know, I always love the strategy guy. How is David Anderson looking on fuel?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. You're always looking for David Anderson. He's done some really good jobs at the strategy call. I think I'm so interested. I love this because it seems like the field is split on how they want to run it. If they can make it to 50, now the curious thing to me is, are they going to have to do it with saving fuel, or are they be able to make it naturally? That's the one thing I have a question about, because I mean, right now Davis Braun's still running 35 flats, but then you got Brett Stevens running in the mid 35s. Where Miguel Colon is running 33.5, so he's 2 seconds a lap faster. I mean, that's just a ton of time. And so the way this will play out is Miguel Colon will just be able to drive his guts out, where these other guys are having to kind of maybe even take it easy, you know, and not, as you see, there goes Miguel Colon unlapping himself. But, you know, Miguel can just go as hard as he wants. If he's going to have a two-stop strategy, he can just drive his guts out for 34 laps and then go back in and pit again. So differing strategies, and I love to see it because I'm interested to see how it's going to play out, because right now Davis Braun, you know, is having to nurse that thing a little bit for 5 laps.
The thing that worries me, if Braun and these guys that are staying out can't make it to 50, they can't split this race halfway, even if they're saving fuel. I think Miguel Colon could win this race because of the tire advantage that he has. Like when Braun hits, Colon will be 2 or 3 seconds ahead of the 24 truck. The thing is, the 24 truck's going to have 10, 11 lap pressure tires when he does pit.
I mean,
feel like
Miguel is going to be well over 2 or 3 seconds. He is going to
he might be 5 or 6.
No, he's going to be almost 10 seconds or more. He's got to be. He's 2 seconds a lap faster since he come down pit road. So that's 8 laps of 2 seconds. I mean, he's going to be over half a lap ahead of Davis Braun. But now the difference is Davis Braun's going to come down pit road. Yeah, I mean, so it's going to be wild to see how it all plays out. You know, the difference in strategy. Davis Braun though is super fast. He is still.
I will say a scary. Oh man, scary sight there. Good for Davis Braun. The 22 and the 86 just came in, and we are not halfway. So Miguel Colon is going to jump them because of that. And now I don't think they're going to be able to save enough fuel to make it to the end, because now you're going to go 54 laps on a tank of gas as Braun keeps it out another lap. Jacques Richard, David Anderson still up on the racetrack here.
Yeah.
And if a caution comes out, Brett Stevens, Dennis Crosby are going to be in a bad position here. And right now, this field extremely spread out. You got 2 trucks on pit lane. Drew Legia is up into the outside wall, right in front of Miguel Colon. A little bit of a scare there. But I think you look at this right now, Colon's going to get the lead. If Braun can make it as David Anderson, they're still stretching it out there. And so Braun, if he can go 2 more laps, he should only have to one-stop this, cut this race in half, take it all the way to the end. So it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, at this point, he can make it to the end.
Yeah.
I think those guys who pitted there, I think they could probably make it about 53. and I think that's why they
Yeah, you're
came on
cutting it
down.
close,
Yeah, it's going to be close. But honestly, at this pace and the difference in the tire wear and stuff, I think Miguel Colon's going to win this race easily without a caution. I don't think the one stopper is going to work. I think the tire wear is that big a difference. I mean, Miguel Colon is almost 27 seconds back already with the difference in tires. I mean, it's just a massive difference. And Miguel Colon just, I mean, playing to his strengths. He knows he doesn't have the long run. He doesn't have the long run to keep up with Davis Braun. This is the way he's going to try to win the race. Yeah. So honestly, I think Miguel Colon's going to win this race.
I think Davis Braun still has a chance. Obviously, we know he's the fastest truck in town, but this pitting or waiting this long might, like you said, hurt him. And I think he's got to bring it in soon or else he's going to be interesting here. I am curious to see what are Dennis Crosby's lap times going to be looking like. What are Dennis Crosby's lap times compared to Miguel Colon's? Because, and you got to remember this too, Colon's going to have to pit one more time where Crosby, Stevens, Braun, Anderson, I don't know about Shabelski, but I think a few other guys, Maynard, they don't have to pit again. So
yeah, I think the difference is though that they're coming down around lap 50, and Miguel's going to come around, lap 65ish.
Because Braun into pit road.
Yeah, so he's only going to be out for about 15 more laps, and so I think he can make up the difference if he comes around laps 60 or 65, just depending on how he can do it. Miguel's got plenty.
Advantage. Yeah, Brown's going to have an advantage though. He will have 15 lap fresher tires than the guys. He doesn't want to push it too hard, I would assume. Yeah. But he can now push. He's going to be the one on offense now. Miguel Colon's been on offense. Now it's time for Braun to be on offense as Braun. Going not even in his pit stall, halfway down pit road, Miguel Colon is coming through turns 3 and 4. And he'll be off of 4 as Braun is just pulling into his pit stall. So like you said, he probably will be a lap ahead, maybe even more, by pitting as Colon now takes the lead, blowing by the 24 in pit road, getting his service done. David Anderson has also brought it down to pit lane. So that hands the lead over to Miguel Colon. Now Kyle Smith, Brian Shabelski, top 3. Braun just leaving pit lane now. So that'll be interesting to see as Anderson just coming into pit lane, into his box. So Davis Braun, when he gets to full speed, he's going to
exit pit road 14 and a half seconds. Yeah.
And if he laps 15 seconds faster, I think, did Colon get into the wall? Or is that just from earlier? So. He does have a scrape along the side of that truck.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But now, with tire fall off, Braun's going to be able to lap a second faster per lap. So it might take 20 laps, but I think Braun can re-jump Colon. But then again, once Braun probably jumps Colon would probably pit.
Yeah, I was going to say, before Davis Braun.
No. David Anderson speeding in pit road again.
Oh no, that's the second week in a row that he's done that.
That's not good. That is unfortunate.
That's so frustrating. Yeah, or it might be I can't really tell, but yeah, it looks like that's going to be speeding, and so disappointing. Golly. He's going to get away right there. But, yeah, I think Davis Braun, he'll get to about 10 seconds, maybe 9 seconds. And then Miguel will come on down pit road, and he'll be back on the offensive. And, if I'm Miguel Colon, it's tough to make the call when to come in because you don't want to come in too early while Davis's tires are too, are still fresh. You want to give yourself the best 35 laps you can do. So I think he waits till about 64, 65, somewhere around in there. But you don't want to wait too late. You got to give yourself plenty of time to get through any traffic and get back up there. But I still feel like if Miguel Colon doesn't make any mistakes and doesn't get into the wall like what we've seen earlier, I think it's going to be close. I'm so excited to see. I mean, it doesn't surprise me one bit. This dang series has been incredible.
It has been, and this reminds me a lot of Richmond a couple of years ago. In the Cup Series, I believe, was where we had, I think it was William Byron, Martin Truex Jr. They stayed out on old tires doing a one-stopper, where I think it was Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick did a two-stopper, and they were able to, they went a whole lap down, chased them, got their lap back, and then a whole nother lap, and then passed them with 4 or 5 to go to win the race. When you're on such old tires, especially at a track like Homestead, the tires are so old, you can't hold off somebody that's got 20, 30 lap fresher tires than you. It's impossible. The problem is I just don't know if there's enough time for Miguel Colon or if there's going to be enough time. I know this track's big, but is there going to be enough time?
If it was a
Braun's
track,
only 12 seconds back. Yeah.
If it was a track that didn't wear the tires out that much, and the fall off was about, a half a second to a second, which there are tracks like that, even some short tracks like that, I don't think it's worth it. But when the fall off is 2.5 seconds, sometimes 3 seconds, sometimes it can be worth it to do it. So like I said, I just think Miguel throwing a Hail Mary here, knowing that he wasn't going to keep up with him. And so it's just it's so fun to see these guys play the different strategies. That's always the best part about oval racing, is just seeing how people, strategize and race the track differently and race the race differently. But right now, I'm sure Miguel is kind of annoyed with Drew Litkia doing nothing wrong. But I know he's probably like, I'm just trying to focus on running this high line in this 21 truck, always getting to the inside. But he should be coming down, I would say, in the next 4 or 5 laps.
It'll be interesting as Braun has only cut about 9 seconds, but now it makes you wonder, is Braun saving a little bit of tire, knowing that he's going to have to take the set all the way to the end? Well, Colon is going to be having to pit again, so he can get a lengthy lead. It's going to be interesting to see as well. And remember, the tires do plateau, after 15 laps, out a little bit. But I think fall off is massive here, and they won't really even off a ton as this run goes on. Braun slowly chipping away. He's consistently a second faster is the thing, and he'll go by Brian Shabelski with ease. And let's remember, Shabelski's on the same tires as Colon, so Braun goes right on by with ease and moves himself up into third. Now, the worst thing for Braun is a caution coming out. Caution coming out would be about the worst thing for him, but nonetheless, nothing too bad so far. Brett Stevens was actually able to jump Dennis Crosby that last time by, all thanks to the pit crew in the pit stall, in the pit box, second faster than the 22 crew. So move Brett Stevens up into 5th at the moment on the track. It'll be interesting to see where those tires fall off. And how about this? This race past halfway over, 40 laps to go when Miguel Colon comes across the line to take lap number 60. But man, what a race! Quick flying by here. Oh man, look at Miguel. And I love seeing the 87 truck all this year. The skew in that truck, the way that right rear has been hanging out all year, has been absolutely amazing to watch. And Miguel has been all over the racetrack, sliding around here. And I know this 21 truck is probably, like you said, not making Miguel the happiest, and it's probably costing him a little bit of time. So it makes you wonder, do you want to pit a little bit earlier? And I know Lidke is doing the right thing. Remember, no lucky dogs in this series, so you got to get your lap back the old-fashioned way. And Lidke has got fresher tires. He's got more grip than the 87 does. He doesn't have the truck, but he's got more grip, more tire, extra little bit of rubber on those tires. So it's kind of helping get around the track.
One thing I wanted to talk about with Miguel Colon's strategy that I think, in the next few laps when he comes down pit road, which most 100% will, is that he's got,
he's
in the wall. Yeah, you cannot do that. That's going to hurt your strategy more than anything. You can't do that. But with him having a lead, when he comes down pit road, one important thing about this that's going to play in Miguel's favor yet again is the fact that when he goes down pit road and makes his stop, he's probably not going to go a lap down. If he does, he'll be right there behind him when he comes out. So, before he comes down and pits, he was a lap down. But I think, if he were to pit right now, he would come out I think right in front of the leader. So that would be good. Makes it easy for him not to have to worry about yellow flags.
We might get the wall again here. Yeah, he's going to. And Miguel Colon up into the wall again. Got into the wake of the 21 truck, and I think that truck just went straight in the dirty air and makes you wonder. I think you got to bring it in soon, because you're going to lose a ton of time to that 24 truck who's got fresher tires than you. Kyle Smith has put together a solid race, led the first 10 laps, got up into the wall early, and then has kind of, done the right thing, stayed ahead of the strategy here. I don't think he's got as fast as a truck as Davis Braun or Miguel Colon, but he's got a third-place truck under him right now. And his strategy, he's going to have to bring it in as well. But Braun going to probably go by with ease here within the next few laps here, probably within the next lap, because the tire advantage is absolutely massive. Still slapping a second faster. Last time, Braun was 2 seconds faster than the leader Colon, but now Braun to the inside will take second away with ease.
Yeah, I think Miguel had a great opportunity there. I think getting in the wall twice there as Kyle Smith really slides off the corner. Yeah, I think that really hurt him. I think the strategy was going to be close anyway, but I think after getting in the wall a couple times,
And the
losing all
thing
that time, I think that's probably going to make it really tough. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I hate to. I've bet against Miguel Colon before, and I've been really wrong. So
Yeah, you can't ever count Miguel Colon out. He's just so good, and this is why he's leading the points the way he is. I mean, a solid season nonetheless, and Braun looking like the truck to beat tonight, has the right strategy, and like you said, when they're pitting, it's so hard to pit now because Braun's only got 13 laps on his tires. He's only falling the second off on the cliff here. He's on board with Jay Dargert, battling with Anthony James. These two got together. I was
about to say that.
At Pocono, and a caution coming out right now would probably be the best thing for Miguel Colon and maybe the rest of this field to gather them back up here. But right now, good battling. They got Alex Maynard as well joining the fight. Alex Maynard is on the lead lap, might I point out, so a solid run from the 243 truck, probably the run of the year for Alex Maynard. Is Dargert slide job into turn number 1. He'll get the spot away from Anthony James up into 12th. Maynard's hoping these boys keep it clean right in front of him so he can go right on by. And how about another shot?
Anthony James blocking. Oh, man, you love to see it. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you right now,
Kyle Smith in the pit road.
Nobody's having more fun than these guys right here. That's one thing I love about iRacing, man, is people just figure out ways to have fun. And these guys are racing for 11th or 12th place, but I guarantee you they're having more fun than just about anybody else. And Jay Dargert's having so much fun. He's got 2 cameras. Look at him. Yeah. We got two points of views for Jay Dargert.
As Davis Braun just made the pass for the lead, and that'll unfortunately probably hurt Miguel Colon's strategy a little bit more. Interesting to see, though, Kyle Smith did pit. He's exiting pit road right now. He's lost a lap, but I will be interested to see how his tires are. He'll have 15 lap fresher tires than the 24 truck of Davis Braun. So we'll see. He's going to have to be on the offense. We know Kyle Smith hasn't really had the fastest truck tonight, but the strategy could be the upper hand for him as well. Cologne 1.2 seconds back that time. I don't know how much that's going to affect him, as Mike Tyler getting passed by Jay Dargert as well. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. We'll see what Smith clicks off here this lap as he's just starting it. But caution's not going to be what Kyle Smith needs right now. He needs this race to maybe play out a little bit green. Curious to see where he's going to cycle out once this race comes to an end. It's Cologne sliding around. Kyle Smith really starting to push it. Now, the thing about Kyle Smith, he's only got to go 30 laps. He just went 30 laps that last run. I think now you push it. You got to push it to the end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you were going to do this strategy, there's no saving the tires, although his line is very scary. He goes to the bottom, and he just lets the truck kind of bounce all the way up to the wall on the exit. That's a very scary line here in Homestead. I'm not sure if I like that at all, but he's trying to be aggressive. He's going to have to take it up, being 33.4. Davis Braun, that's about a second faster. And he is probably, I don't know how far back Davis Braun is into 3 and 4. It's probably not going to be enough time to run Davis Braun down, but
remember, he's got to pass him twice.
yeah. So I mean, he can make up a lot of that time in second faster.
Cologne is pitting right now, so this will be the other part of that strategy. He's led 18 laps. I think they waited too long.
I think they waited too long. I think this should have come around.
I just don't think this strategy. I just didn't think this strategy was going to work. Braun has too good of a truck in it. I don't know if anybody that watched the truck race at Richmond a couple weeks ago, where Ty Majeski had probably the best truck I've ever seen in a Craftsman Truck Series race, and they did pit him, and he lost the race because other guys decided to pit. And I think this is one of those races where they didn't need to pit. And I respect the strategy. I think it was well worth the risk, but it's a high risk, high reward kind of strategy. And unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be reaping the reward of the risk here. But it's all up to and now really with these guys pitting, it's all Davis Braun can really do whatever he wants now. He's got the upper hand on these guys. Yeah, if he wants to pit again, he can pit again. So
he probably could. I mean, you know what? It's honestly probably not a bad strategy. Just come on down and get forward tires and come back out.
But
you
got to be careful too, because you got Dennis Crosby, who I think is going to go to the end here. And how about Alex Maynard up in 3rd? Great race from the 243, and Pierre Robitaille in 4th. Look at these guys inside the top 5. Lidkia's up in 5th. A caution comes out now. These guys are going to be sitting pretty.
Yeah.
And Shabelski also brought it in that last time as well. So.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. Right now, Kyle Smith is now right behind Davis Braun. So yeah, he's got to make up a whole lap. That's going to be tough. I mean, he can get around Davis Braun and hope for a caution. That's about the best that he can do. You know, Miguel Colon's about 4.2 seconds.
Litka's around the pit road again.
Yeah, luckily in pit road, so you won't bring out the caution. But Litka having trouble getting on the pit road. Brake bias probably a little bit too low. We've seen that a couple times out of him. So.
Good to say, though, no caution's going to come out here. So far, Davis Braun, a commanding lead, 17, almost make it 18 seconds over Dennis Crosby, and another dominant, I think I would say this is the first dominating performance we've seen out of Davis Braun. Last week, got the pole, led it the first half of the race. Miguel Colon kind of blew by, took the lead, and pretty much looked like he had it. Caution came out late. Colon got into the wall in a restart. Braun was able to capitalize and got the win, and this week, different story. He's looking like Miguel Colon has looked like all year, and just absolutely just controlling this race, dominating this race, honestly.
Yeah, and Davis Braun's still in the mid-34s, where Miguel Colon is running a low 33.1, so it's a pretty big difference. And you know, huh?
Said he's turning qualifying laps right now. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Colon, he is absolutely.
And Davis Braun's going to continue to fall off. I mean, he's gonna fall off into the 35s pretty soon, and he's gonna have to drive 25 laps like that. So I think it's going to be closer than I'm even thinking. But I think you're right. I think Davis Braun is going to.
And there goes Smith. And Smith's going to do an interesting thing. He's going to pin him behind the lap truck here of Anthony James. They're going to go 3 wide. Smith unlaps himself. So if a caution comes out, he won't be a lap down. But now he'll get by the 24. And you'll see the tire advantage there. Smith blows by Braun.
We still got more. We got more than 20 laps.
Yeah.
We got 20 laps.
It depends how much is he going to fall off compared to the 24 of Braun. 1 second right now, currently. If there was 32 laps to go, Smith would be able to catch him on the final lap. We'll see how much Braun really falls off, especially with the lap trucks here, the lap traffic, which there isn't too much ahead. That time behind Anthony James costing him a little bit now behind Pierre Robitaille.
Yeah, and of course, those two drivers, Miguel Colon and Kyle Smith, they'll fall off too as Miguel Colon had to sneak in through there. But they'll fall off too, you know, and so that will definitely slow down their advance. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I know right now Miguel Colon just trying to get around Pierre, trying to get around Davis Braun, and get back on the lead lap. That's numero uno of importance that you really want to do, is he just flies right by Pierre. But getting around the leader without the lucky dog, he's got to go, and then he can breathe a little bit because that caution does come out. He'll be able to get back on the lead lap. So
caution comes out, Braun. I think either way, this is Braun's race to lose. Braun's still with a set of tires in the pits, where Colon and Smith needing this to go caution-free pretty much to even get their spots back, because they don't have tires in the pits. They've run out.
Right.
The pit box has pretty much been packed up, as they say. Yeah,
that's a great point too. So, yeah, you're right. I think you're 100% right. I think I'm gonna concede. I said that Miguel Colon still had a chance. He hit the wall twice. Kind of gave up that big advantage that he possibly could have had. Which I think there'll be about if it goes green to the end, I think there'll be about a turn, maybe a half a straightaway or straightaway behind him. But I don't think they're going to be able to catch him now.
They'll close up to a half a lap. I don't know if we're going to see more than that. I think Braun's got such a good truck, and I've noticed so consistent, the lap times consistently turning 34.
Oh, Miguel, you have to go take some evasive action around Jay Dargert. My goodness, that was close. Miguel pulls up in front of him into the entry of the corner. Like, I don't appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Woo.
We'll see here, and look at the lap times. Kyle Smith's still 9/10 of a second faster, but it's just not going to matter. I mean, I think you'll see Colon and Smith get second and third. I don't think you'll see them win the race. And Dennis Crosby, though, great run from him still. Glad to see that 22 truck doing well in second. Best run of his season, I would say. And that Ford F-150 is not too shabby here tonight. Makes you wonder, is he going to maybe bring it into pit road? He's going low. I know. Dennis Crosby is actually going to bring it down to pit lane. So interesting to see This will leave Davis Braun the only truck that hasn't pitted. But you got 18 laps to go. Is it worth pitting for Braun, who has a 27-second gap over Kyle Smith? As the picture-in-picture replay here between Miguel Colon and Jay Dargard off turn 4 just a couple laps ago. Man, look at that crossover there from the 87. Gets right on by the 57. A little bit of a scare there, but everybody gets it gathered up here. Robitaille also bringing it down to pit road as well. So interesting to see here. Davis Braun pretty much has the option to do anything. If he pits, though, he will lose the lead, but he should be able to attack quite quickly.
He's not going to pit. That would be crazy. That would just be, that would blow my mind. He made it all the way to 50. But I think he made it to 51.
Fun. I think he could, but
yeah, he made it to like 51. There's no doubt that he's got plenty of fuel to do it. I think he's committed to the strategy. It would blow. I'd fall out of my chair if he came down pit road.
Dennis Crosby took 2 tires there that last stop.
Yeah, just trying to stop the bleeding a little bit. He feels like, I'm not sure why he pitted, honestly. I mean, he did pit like 3 or 4 laps early, so I think
he's sliding. So he's gonna have to be careful here for the next 18 or 17 or so laps.
Yeah, I wonder if he didn't pit a little bit too early and wasn't gonna make it on fuel, so he came down trying to save a little bit of that time by taking 2 tires. And we didn't really pay attention to Davis Braun if he was saving fuel or anything, so. He may have been saving that little extra that he needed.
He's got such a big gap, he can save quite a little bit.
Well, I've been on the first run. We weren't paying attention if he was saving to make it versus the other guys that were going to try the same strategy. So that may be, Davis Braun might have pulled the wool over everybody's eyes tonight. I mean, he probably went long knowing that he could do, a one-stop strategy, and Kyle Smith, Miguel Colon with conviction came down pit road pretty early, like, no, he can't make it. And they weren't even concerned with that strategy. So I wonder if Davis Braun didn't kind of snooker everybody with the fuel mileage and saved a little bit with that lead.
Well could have.
Yeah, I'd be interested because, there's no reason for Dennis Crosby to have come down when he did and then come back down. So, I think Davis Braun is just kind of
he's cruising. He's
on another level tonight. It's great.
Yeah, he is. He's absolutely dominated this race. Led a ton of laps here. Is 15 laps to go, which reminds us, since we haven't had a caution here tonight, tonight's race broadcast, obviously here from the Beast YouTube channel. I want to thank our sponsors here, IRTES, the flagship of multi-class sports car series racing with great sponsors, prizes, and top-level esports competition, as well as the Champions Circle, a premium membership, VIP Discord subscriptions with great perks and special benefits, and of course the Storm Gang Simulation Group, a in-house top-level modding group for R Factor 2. And by being a member of CMS, you can get exclusive opportunities for their content as on board with Brian Shabelsky in the 85 Makoni Setup Shop Chevy Silverado. He's looking underneath, I believe that's the 78 of David Anderson and Anthony James in the 216 as well. But this field's extremely spread out. Cologne has caught Kyle Smith slowly but surely. These guys lapping 0.8 of a second faster, but just 0.8 is not going to cut it. You would need about 1.5 seconds at this rate to have even a chance at Davis Braun. Caution right now cuts would make this interesting though, but I think Davis Braun would have the race pretty much locked up because he can come and get fresh tires. And looking at this, only 3 trucks on the lead lap. That is the pace that the 24 truck has had all night.
Yeah, it's impressive for Davis Braun, but honestly, it's really impressive for Kyle Smith and Miguel Colon, who have done a 2-stopper and has been able to kind of get back on the lead lap, unlap themselves, and still be at least within, if a caution does come out, within shot of being able to get a win. So, interesting to see both strategies kind of work as far as, if you're Miguel Colon, you're just trying to maintain. You're not trying to do anything crazy. As both these drivers are getting a little yawed out off of turn 4. But, you're not trying to do anything crazy. A third-place finish from Miguel Colon is plenty. He just needs to maintain. He doesn't need to have a 1979 Darrell Waltrip collapse. And it just needs to – he can do whatever the heck he wants. Most likely he's going to be the champion. So, it's a cool strategy. He may come away with second place here, but I think you're 100% right at this point. Unless we get a caution, no matter what Davis Braun does, he's going to – because Davis Braun's just lapped in the 34 bracket, which is so impressive.
He's still in the 34s.
Yeah, he's just killing this whole field, man. It's so impressive.
a Martin Truex Jr.-esque performance with just dominating pretty much. And I've always noticed in the Cup Series currently with the next gen car, you don't see people dominate anymore. But when you see Truex have a fast car, Truex absolutely dominates the race. So really one of the only few guys that still you see guys dominate races current day in the Cup Series right now. But Davis Braun, like I said, just hats off to him. Phenomenal day all night. Phenomenal racing all night. Man, this race is sped by only we're looking at right at an hour when this race ends because of how clean and green this race has been.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit with this series. It's just incredible how these guys race. We had that caution late last week, and but that's pretty rare, man. That's this series. I mean, you got 14 drivers, a lot less variables to cause wrecks, but yeah, I mean, just impressive as always for this series to be sliding around and as loose and out of control some of these guys are, to be able to hang on to it. And I mean, Kyle Smith to come back and finish second, which I thought he was done after that first run. I mean, just was all over the place. I thought he's not going to make it, and here he is in second. Going to have to hold off Miguel Colon though here with just 8 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard-fought battle for second. Colon's trying. He's got about 4 lap fresher tires. Curious if we get the on board with Miguel Colon, who we know we have the camera on with him, riding that high line. Kyle Smith on the bottom. Right now, 22 seconds behind your leader, Davis Braun. 7 laps to go. There's on board with Miguel Colon. Camera as well, seeing the focus there. Looks like he might be able to get second, but Kyle Smith's going to put up a hard fight here. Colon up to the outside. Doesn't get up on the wall, doesn't use that Larson line, but still using the outside lane, trying to get that run, that draft down the backstretch. Smith able to hold on to about a 5-6 car length lead, or truck length lead over the 87 so far.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to work him over. I think Miguel is definitely faster with those fresher tires. Kyle, it's hard to defend if you're in Kyle's position just because how loose he is. Man, it makes it so difficult to try to hold somebody off when they're putting pressure on you and you're that on the ragged edge. So I think Miguel is going to be fine. I think Kyle's going to try to make it tough on him, obviously, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see how much of a fight he actually puts up, just knowing how loose that truck is right now for Kyle Smith.
You got to be very careful here. Don't want to overstep the limit. Maybe cost yourself a third place finishes. There goes Colon down the inside. Oh, he clips the apron there and he goes up the racetrack. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him a little bit of time as Smith pulls away a little bit. Oh, Smith loose out the corner. Big counter over, or big correction there. Keeps it going though. Great save from the 55. Right now, this will be the only battle on the racetrack that I can see that's for position at the moment. Colon closes up to the back bumper of Smith, but Smith holds on to the position off at turn number 2, and everybody seems to keep it going. Smith now opens up to about another 2-3 truck lengths down the back.
Yeah, he's, Kyle Smith trying a little arrow block in there, trying to cut off Miguel's line into one, and I think Miguel really wasn't ready for it and clipped that apron, and that hurt him. But man, look at Kyle Smith just letting the right rear hang out. He's showing the sponsor. Make sure the flagman says, "Hey, you can see my sponsor," as he comes off of 4. And Miguel's all over him. But Miguel, if you're looking at the onboard, like the in-car camera, his webcam, you can see he is definitely not having an easy time at all. So it's going to be a struggle bus to make this pass. But I'm excited to see these guys take it to the end, though. But
that's for sure.
Yeah, you can see they're trying. Yeah, they're trying. Yeah. They're looking all over the place, trying to find some different lines. I'm surprised Miguel's not. Man, look how loose he is off of. Like I say, tell you what, coming off the bottom off of 4 with a truck that sketchy, I would not do it. I'm going to be at the top, right where Miguel is right now. I'm going to sit right there because what he's doing is he's trying a line where you come off the wall and actually come down a little bit, and maybe a little bit nervousness from hitting the wall 2 or 3 times so far. But to really make that high line work, you got to keep that right rear above that seam up there where that progressive banking is. And you've got, right there, that's perfect. If he can do that every lap, he'll pass Kyle with ease. But that's the trick is you got to stay up there. You got to make use of that top side all the way to the exit of the corner. And you can tell Miguel a little gun shy after hitting the wall a few times.
Yeah, but you never know. We got 2 laps to go. I know we just don't want to wreck the truck, but he might have one more shot here. And while this is happening, all this is happening behind Davis Braun, who sees 2 laps to go on the racetrack here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Man, what a race it's been. Great strategy, but a great truck and a dominant performance from Davis Braun is, Miguel Colon's up into the outside wall off of turn number 4.
Yep.
And that might do his chances at
That's
second.
it.
He tried. I'll give him credit. He
Yeah.
tried. But 3 and 4, Davis Braun looking for back-to-back wins this season, and next week maybe trying to go 3 in a row. Is white flag out here in the air. One more lap to go. Davis Braun, 3 trucks on the lead lap. A dominating performance for the DuPont Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Braun commanding lead, 20 seconds over second place Kyle Smith, 22 seconds over third place Miguel Colon. Absolute dominating performance here is halfway down the backstretch here for the final time here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Into turns number 3 and 4. The 24 truck, well, lights out as under the lights here at Homestead-Miami. A lights out performance from Davis Braun off of turn 4. Davis Braun, second win of the season, back to back, and it comes at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And wow, what a race! What a commanding win there for Davis Braun. Down the backstretch now for second, Kyle Smith, commanding lead over the 87 of Miguel Colon. Braun takes the checkered flag in first. Second will be coming off of turn 4. Kyle Smith, his best run since his win at Texas. Second place for the 55 of Kyle Smith. And your points leader, Miguel Colon, gets another top 3 finish, a podium for the 87 truck, and adds on to a great season so far. Man, what an evening, what a race. Caution-free, 100 laps, 71 laps led, starts in 5th, and he comes home the winner. Davis Braun, what a victory. 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty spread out race, but I think he just won on strategy. That was 100% Davis Braun just outsmarting the rest of the field. He definitely had the fastest truck, so he could have done both strategies and probably still won. But that gave him the best opportunity as he's really laying down some nice donuts. I mean, real tight donuts there as he's celebrating this win. So I'm excited to talk to him and see what his thoughts were and see if he knew that going in. I mean, I got so many questions for these guys, and the top 3, the perfect 3, we're going to get to talk to. But let's go ahead and take a look at the results if you want to, Alec, and then we'll get into the final.
The top 3 here. Yeah, as Davis Braun comes home 2 wins in a row, second win in a row, and his second win of the season here for the 24 truck. Starts 5th, comes home the winner. Kyle Smith, a top 3 again for the 55 truck. Now we'll move, I believe, into second in points, but Smith in second. Miguel Colon, your points leader, extending that points lead. And like I said, only 3 trucks on the lead lap. Miguel Colon in third. Brian Shabelski backs up his second place finish with a 4th place finish this week here at Homestead. Dennis Crosby gets a top 5. Brett Stevens in 6th. Your pole sitter comes home 6th. Jacques Richard, what a run from him tonight. Starts 14th, comes home in 7th. By far the biggest mover of the week, of the race. And how about that for Jacques? Alex Maynard, probably his race of the season as well, comes home in 8th. And how about Pierre Robitaille up into 9th? And then the newcomer, his first race, opens it up with the top 10, and Drew Lidgia.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in 11th, David Anderson, so disappointing. Another penalty this week. Had a great strategy. Probably would have come away with some really nice points. Is going to lose ground being second in the points. But, still a couple races left to go. But he's going to come away in 11th. I know he's disappointed. Jay Dargert going to be in 12th. Anthony James in 13th. And Mike Tyler rounds out your field.
Well, our drivers, we're down in pit road now. How about we, Eddie, we get old Miguel Colon, your 3rd place finisher here tonight?
Miguel Colon, this is Eddie. Alec in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Well, I've got 1,000 questions, and I hope that you can answer all of them. We saw there at the beginning, you're able to drive up through the field, get up to the lead, and then Davis Braun was able to get around you, but differing strategies. We had Davis Braun doing the 1-stop. You and Kyle Smith doing the 2-stop race. Talk to me a little bit about that, the beginning of the race, but also tell me about your decision to try to do the 2-stopper. Is that something you planned on doing, or was that a in-the-moment type decision? What was your thoughts there as you were going to make that call?
Well, I really didn't have like a strategy at the beginning of the race or anything like that. So when the race was gonna start, I didn't check first how many laps I could get in the fuel tank. So I was like, okay, I got 3 set of tire. Let me try to split them kind of even to maintain pace. I know this track eats tire a lot in the long runs. In my previous experience running different cars, so I was trying to just match up and keep up with the pace. But when I saw that he was able to make it to halfway with one stop, then I was like, oh, like uh, I needed him to actually don't get to the halfway to that strategy to actually work. But we give it a try. At the end, podium finish. That's still good for the championship points, so we take that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had such a nice lead that you could have done anything tonight and probably still had a massive lead. But talk a little bit about that high line truck. You wanted to be up there. It seemed like you didn't really enjoy being down on the bottom, but it did kind of reach out and grab you a couple times. What were you struggling with the most trying to get that top line to really hook up and trying to stay out of that wall?
Yeah, my truck was super tight on entry, and then I was using the gas to help rotate the truck, spinning the tires midway through the exit. But that was kind of at the beginning of the run was too loose. Then lap 15, it was very good, and then from lap 15, then I had it to. Sometimes I try dragging the brake to help rotate in the entry, coasting early. I try like deep diving, turning in to see if it starts spinning the tire in the back to turn in. Like I was trying to search that entry, but unfortunately I couldn't find like a setup besides the one from iRacing for this track. So I was like, I came late practice today. I was like, okay, there is no like a specific good setup for like, for example, like VRS or other service that have a setup for this type of tracks. So I had to find like a track that was similar, and the one that kind of helped me get with the pace that the guys were running. It was like the Michigan setup, but it was too loose on mid corner exit and too tight in the entry. But we make it work. We got a good, decent finish, and I think probably we could have been in P2 depending on the strategy. I think Kyle pitting those 4 laps earlier than me kind of helped him get in front of me after the last pistol sequence, and then I got to him, and then I brushed the wall, and then that was like kind of game over. So props to the both guys. They had an awesome race too.
Well, third place finish, it's still really, really awesome for that 87 truck. And as always, Miguel, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Thank to you guys for doing the streaming. Also, the community of CMS. This is a very fun league. Right now I'm enjoying it. Today I had a close call. My daughter wake up right when we're doing the grid countdown, so I had to go get her a bottle of milk to try to get her back to sleep, so I could keep racing because my wife was still working. But we make it through. So, and then our community sim racing PR in Puerto Rico, and my sponsor just so much job. So thank you guys.
Well, there you have it. Miguel Colon, and I believe Alec is caught up with Kyle Smith.
Yes, sir. I have Kyle Smith. You come home second here tonight. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Kyle, you had yourself a good evening. Different strategy compared to Davis Braun, but you got out front early, got up into the wall, unfortunately cost you a little bit of time. Is there anything more you think you could have had to maybe run with Davis in the 87?
No, that truck was on a different level. I had nothing for him.
Next week we go to the High Banks, the World Center of Racing in Daytona. These trucks, big into the pack, are going to be score. They're going to be sliding around. How do you feel about going out in Daytona and maybe getting that second win of the season?
I actually feel really good about Daytona. Me and Dennis, we have a lot of practice drafting and everything like that, and I have a good feeling about Daytona. So we'll see.
Do you expect a lot of chaos when we go out racing in Daytona, or do you think we're going to keep it clean?
I think it's going to be chaotic at first, but then I think it'll clean up as the race goes on. But then you get the last 10 laps where it's just an absolute shootout and nobody cares.
That's usually how it is in this truck series. But man, you guys always putting on a great show. Strategy, slip sliding around. Always good to watch you. You're always wheeling that truck around. Before we let you go, does anybody want to give a shout out to?
I want to thank my wife. She may be sleeping in bed, but she's here supporting me. I want to thank my buddy Dennis. Guys, T3 Motorsports and Reflex Sim Racing. I thank all of them for all the hard work they put in to give me a decent truck. So
Oh, we appreciate your time, Kyle. Again, congratulations on the second place finish here tonight, and we'll see you next week out in Daytona. That's your second place finisher, Kyle Smith, and we'll move on to our race winner, Davis Braun-Eddie. I believe you're caught up with him.
I sure am. Davis Braun, this is Eddie, Alec in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. Glad to see you again.
So, yeah, absolutely. 2 in a row. Let's go at the right time, too. Too bad we're not doing playoffs. That would be a heck of a momentum swing. But man, 2 wins, trophy hunting, Davis Braun. You're getting it done. And tonight, with an interesting call there, I said I thought maybe that 2-stop strategy might work. But I think you snookered everybody, but pretty much everybody in the field except for Alec in the booth. I think he was on your side the whole time. Yeah, I mean, with the 1-stop strategy, your truck was obviously extremely fast early on, able to get the lead and pull away by almost 4 seconds over championship leader Miguel Colon. But talk a little bit about that strategy. What was your thoughts coming into the race? How much did you practice the fuel run? And were you planning on doing that the whole time?
Yeah, well, I mean, to start off, I was really honestly disappointed in my qualifying effort. I was almost surprised when I came across the line and saw it was the 2 or whatever. I was kind of expecting a 0 or a 9 just based on the 1 or 2 runs I did in practice. So put myself a little bit behind there, but yeah, the car felt really great and was able to move forward pretty quickly. I will say, going to your point on practice, I never really practiced like a full 50 lap run. I think the most I did was 30, 35. I mean, Miguel's such a competitor that I was really, really tired of seeing the back end of his truck. And so I did put like a ton of kind of practice into this week, and mainly because I was never happy with the setup. I was always trying to find something, just it never felt great. I was never really comfortable with it. It finally just kind of threw something, I think last night or maybe this afternoon, together to just kind of make it drivable so I could get through the whole run fine. And that yeah, so it was really comfortable out there. So I knew kind of from doing those kind of consistent 20 lap runs to look at the tires and see how the adjustments were affecting the tire wear, or tire temps, I guess would be the better indicator, that it was probably possible to go 50 laps. I wasn't completely sure. And then I started checking about 20, 25 laps in after I got past Miguel and could see, oh yeah, I could do this. So my wasn't really sure what I was gonna do until pretty much lap 36, and I think I was still on the track. Like, well, I guess I'm committing to the 2-stop strategy here. Felt like I had a good enough gap as well, and plus, kind of like last week, you saw the caution with 10 laps to go. If that happened again, I really wanted that set of tires at the end of the race when it seemed pretty much everyone except 1 or 2 people would be out on 15, 20 lap old tires then. But other than that, yeah, truck went really well. It was a really great race. Everyone was really racing well and respectful. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a throwback race to like the late 70s, early 80s, that time of racing in NASCAR where, fourth place was the lap down. You won the race by 22 and a half seconds. With the different strategy. I mean, when Kyle Smith, Miguel Colon comes down pit road on lap 34, did you question it at all, or were you 100% good? Like, nah, this is what I'm doing.
Uh, I was definitely committed to this strategy, even if it was a bit less fun. I'm usually not a fuel. I didn't save any fuel, but I'm usually like to pit a bit more. The Jeremy Clarkson method of speed and power. It's a lot more fun to live by. And then you see Miguel and Kyle blow past you a few laps after they pit, and you're thinking, okay, what can the delta V to kind of keep that gap there, and you see them kind of get out of your relative, and you're just, I never actually really checked until about 5 laps ago to try and find where they were, but I think always then you're a little bit nervous. Wasn't completely confident, but by that point you're committed, and it was just really happy that it worked out.
Well, Davis Braun, 2 wins in a row, led 71 laps, but that really doesn't tell the story because you dominated this race. You pretty much, in my eyes, you led all of them. Just an incredible race. After starting 5th, able to jump up to the front and then make the right strategy call. Sometimes, sometimes you're not the fastest truck and you have the right strategy. Sometimes you're flip flopped and it's different. But tonight you were both. I mean, you had the fastest truck for sure and the right strategy, and when you do that, that's a perfect combination to come away with the win. So congratulations, and as always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, no sponsors again. If anyone out there that wants to, let me know, hit me up. But yeah, no, thanks to David and CMS as always for putting this on. It's a great league. It's a fun league. Apparently, thanks to Alec for being on my side on the strategy. Really appreciate it. And thanks again to you guys for doing these wonderful broadcasts every week.
All right. Well, there you have it. Your winner, Davis Braun. Well, he sounded pretty confident, didn't he, Alex?
Yeah, he was pretty confident, and the momentum is riding high. Is man, what a race tonight, dominating from Davis Braun, and man, it's going to be a fun week next week as we go restrictor plate racing, bump drafting on the super speedways on the high banks of Daytona, maybe under the lights, maybe in the afternoon. I'm not really sure, but man, it's going to be fun as well. What a race, what a season it's been. Miguel Colon continues to extend that lead over Kyle Smith, who will now be in second. And it's the Champion Motorsports Truck Series continues to do just a great job every week, week in and week out. Clean racing, and there's nothing better than Champion Motorsports here all night. And appreciate you everybody tuning in here on VSpeed 2. Remember to follow all of our channels, VSpeed 2, VSpeed, and the VSpeed Racing Network as well. Thank you to all the sponsors, IRTES, the flagship of multi-car class or sports car class racing, powered by the Champion Motorsports League, as well as the Champion Circle Premium membership to the VIP Discord subscription with great perks and special benefits, as well as Storm Gang Simulation, an in-house top level of modding group for R Factor 2. And by being a member of CMS, you can get exclusive opportunities to enjoy and race their content. Eddie, it's been an honor and a pleasure again. We'll see you next week. I'm Alec Martinez. Alongside me tonight, my producer and as well my co-commentator, Eddie, always doing a great job. Thank you to all who tuned in as well. Thank you for everybody who runs VSpeed, Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, and Eddie Smith, as well as myself, Alec Martinez. It's been an honor to call the race here tonight. Congrats to Davis Braun. Thank you to everybody who watched tonight. Remember, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to all 3 channels. And hopefully we'll see you guys on Tuesday for the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series or Racing Series for the Clash at Daytona. And then as well, coming soon once again, will be Thursday nights for the BMW Car Club of America Series here back on VSpeed 2 with Adam Baker. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. We'll see you next week from the World Center of Racing and in Daytona.